We've taken a look at adding some layouts now, and hopefully you get the idea of grids versus stack panels, when to use each, and some general ideas of just adding controls. Before we jump into more of that, let's now take a look at the window. So the window is a desktop concept, so this will be for Windows, Mac and Linux, but not for mobile. We can see here, this is the window, and note the size. So see how large this is at the minute? This is the window size. Now in Avalonia, there's actually two sizes you can have. So one is the size in this preview window in the designer, so this exact size here, and the other is what gets set at runtime. So there's two differences, and you'll notice in here it's fairly easy to see. We have something called DesignWidth and DesignHeight. Now the only difference is, you'll notice it has this D colon at the front. These are namespaces, and if you think of like these using in the background of C# code, where we do using, and then this allows us to reference things that are inside of, say, Avalonia controls, inside this code base, without having to prefix it with Avalonia.controls. In the XAML, this is very similar. So this special syntax, which is an XML namespace, that's what XML-NS stands for, it's a way of saying it's a namespace. You can see they're not quite the same. They are this strange HTTP convention. However, other times, like here, they are standard kind of using and then namespaces. So these ones are baked in and defaults that get processed by the underlying XAML engine. So don't worry about them. This is something baked in, and this is just an exact string that has to be there to enable this designer namespace, if you will. So stuff you don't really need to be concerned about, so long as you have this exact string in. You then know that the letter D prefixed is all about design time stuff. So if we go to here and say designer width, we could set this to say 40. You could set the design height to 45, and you can see now the previewer is very small. But if we run the application, this should still open up in the full window size. So there you go, you have the actual window size. This allows you to just visualize things in the designer different than the final application. You can also just remove these fully, but then that's just going to default to an unknown size, effectively a fill to fit the content size. So it's always good to specify the width and height. But you'll notice we also don't actually specify the underlying Windows height. So let's set this up to, say, 500 by 450 in the designer. And now in here, if we just do the exact same thing, but we don't specify the design width, we actually just want the width. You could say here, let's do 500, and the height wants to be 450. I usually put these on a separate line like this, so they stay next to each other. And you'd normally keep these in sync as well. If we run this now, then we should see that the designer will look similar to the runtime size. So there we go. We have now the customization. One other thing you'll see at the top here, it says Avalonia application, and here says Avalonia controls. This part we're not touching just yet. This is the name of the application that runs in the dock down here. But this title of the window, Avalonia controls, is controlled simply by this title here. So we can set this to, say, temperature control. And this is going to be the name of the application we're making, just a very simple temperature control converter. And now when it spins up, you'll see this title's changed in the window, but this one at the top hasn't yet. The application name is different than the window name. You have other things. This is the icon. And again, this icon will appear in certain places on Windows in the icon, but on Mac, you won't get this appearing in the same way. That requires a package and a .app and a completely different setup. But this icon is set for the metadata. So it's always good to set it anyway to an actual icon that's usable in Windows and other places.